Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of Sound Advice. And in this edition of Sound Advice, we are going to EQ the vocals on this mix that we've been working on. So, even though we're doing them last in my workflow, that's how I like to work. I like to do my vocals last. I like for them to be the last thing that I'm trying to get a space for. So if you're interested in this, please stay tuned as we jump into my DAW and let's EQ the vocals in this track that we're working on.
Okay, now last but not least, we're going to do the vocals. And in what I like to do is get all the instruments playing well together, and I save my vocals for last because vocals for me, that's the main instrument. That's what everybody is going to, a listener, not everybody, but a listener is going to be tuning into is the vocals. So we want to clean up the vocals where you can hear them, where they sound good in the mix. So let's listen to the vocals without any processing. I'm going to be doing a little bit of gain staging some with the vocals to get the levels right, and then we'll get into some EQing. So let's listen to the vocals, and you know, listen for what you think, if the vocals need some EQing or if it doesn't need any EQing, and then I'll tell you what I think.
Well, have you heard about the one-time weekend inner city girl just drowning in the deep end, couldn't see the light, now she's trying to make it right, but the day's not over till the sun falls down. Oh, 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 don't go, but you can't stay home now. Oh, 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 yeah.
Okay, so you was able to listen to the vocals, and from what I was hearing is that they need cleaning up because they're it sounds like they're muffled. You know, the vocals sound like it's muffled, and it needs to be cleared up. So some of that low end needs to be taken away so that the vocals can shine in the mix. Now, when I was trying to just adjust the vocals in the mix, because if you listen to any modern music, I don't care what genre you listen to, but any modern music, the main things that you hear is the kick, the snare, and the vocals. That's what you hear. Okay. And those instruments need to be more prominent than everything else. So we want the vocals to be heard, but we need to clean them up so that you still hear the kick, you still hear the snare, and you hear the vocals, and they're all playing nicely together. Okay, because what we're hearing now from the vocals is not what we naturally hear. So we want to make the vocals, we want to clean them up with EQ so that we can make them sound more natural. And that's with anything. That's with any instrument, with anything, we want to try to get it to sound as natural as possible. Okay, so now my EQ has gotten a little different. I'm not using just the filter on the EQ. I'm using a 6-band EQ. Cause now I'm, with my vocals, I do more surgical moves than I actually do with anything else. I do more surgical moves on my vocals than I do any other instrument. So let's see how we can clean this up and have it sounding as natural as possible.
Yeah, wanna play the game and you got to know how. Oh, she's a rebel, but her father is a devil, so she knows to be careful when he comes home late. Crying trying to make it right, but the day's not over till the sun falls down. Oh, oh, oh. You don't have to go, but you can stay home now. Oh, 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 yeah. Wanna play the game and you got to know how. Oh, she's a rebel, but her father is a devil, so she knows to be careful when he comes home late. Crying in the dark, she's exposed to his remark. There's a swift head cutting through the cold night air. Oh, oh, oh. You don't have to go, but you can stay home now. Oh, 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 yeah. You wanna play the game and you got to know how. Well, have you heard about the one-time weekend inner city girl just drowning in the deep end, couldn't see the light? Now she's trying to make it right, but the day's not over till the sun falls down. Oh, oh, oh. You don't have to go, but you can stay home now. Oh, 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 yeah. You wanna play the game and you got to know how. Oh, she's a rebel, but her father is a devil, so she knows to be careful when he comes home late. Crying in the dark, she's exposed to his remark. There's a swift hand cutting through the cold night air. Oh, oh, oh. You don't have to go, but you can stay home now. Oh, 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 yeah. You wanna play the game and you got to know how. Well, have you heard about the one-time weekend inner city girl just drowning in the deep end, couldn't see the light? Now she's trying to make it right, but the day's not over till the sun falls down. Oh, oh, oh. You don't have to go, but you can stay home now. Oh, 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 yeah. You wanna play the game and you got to know how. Oh, she's a rebel, but her father is a devil, so she knows to be careful when he comes home late. Crying in the dark, she's exposed to his remark. There's a swift head cutting through the cold night air. Oh, oh, oh. You don't have to go, but you can stay home now. Oh, 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 yeah. You wanna play the game and you got to know how. Well, have you heard about the one-time weekend inner city girl just drowning in the deep end, couldn't see the light? Now she's trying to make it right, but the day's not over till the sun falls down. Oh, oh, oh. You don't have to go, but you can stay home now. Oh, 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 yeah. You wanna play the game and you got to know how. Oh, she's a rebel, but her father is a devil, so she knows to be careful when he comes home late. Crying in the dark, she's exposed to his remark. There's a swift hand cutting through the cold night air. Oh, oh, oh. You don't have to go, but you can stay home now. Oh, 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 yeah. You wanna play the game and you got to know how. Well, have you heard about the one-time weekend inner city girl just drowning in the deep end, couldn't see the light? Now she's trying to make it right, but the day's not over till the sun falls down. Oh, oh, oh. You don't have to go, but you can stay home now. Oh, 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 yeah. You wanna play the game.
All right. So I think that I've cleared it up. I think I achieved my goal. Let's hear what we've done. So I'm taking all of my EQs out. And yes, I'm using three EQs. The first EQ that I'm using, my 6 band, I boost at 4,272 kilohertz, because this is where some presence lies. Sibilance lies in this area as well. But we're just talking about EQing. We're going to get into how we can use the sibilance in a good way to help bring that airiness to the vocals. But right now we're just talking about EQ. We're just trying to get the mud gone and things like that. So for 484 hertz, to my ears, this is where the room frequencies are kind of what the microphone picks up when the person starts to sing. And I wanted to take some of that room out of there. And this is what I felt I was hearing, where I was hearing room noise when I boosted and then cut. And 315 I felt was kind of muddy. It was kind of darkened. And I did hear once I pulled it down some, that it did brighten up the vocals a little bit. So then we move over to my next EQ, where around three something or close to 400, I pulled out some of that. So what I couldn't do with my first EQ, and I wanted to get some more frequencies pulled out, I did it with this EQ. Once again, around that room area, some other frequencies that, just listening, sweeping, the knob. And then it was like, okay, right there. So I pulled that out, so then I pulled out some more, around here. I felt that the vocals were kind of nasally and everything around this frequency. So I wanted to pull that out. And then I wanted to add some clarity. So, maybe around 12 or 10 or 11, somewhere up in there. I mean, I ain't got where I can really see to tell you, to pinpoint you. But I did boost quite a bit to bring out some of that air. And then with this EQ, I wanted to bring out more air, more clarity. And so I boosted around 12. I boosted 12 kilohertz to bring out more of the air. So we're going to bypass and bring them back in so that you could hear what these EQs did. So we're listening to it, EQs enabled right now.
Well, have you heard about the one time weekend?
Enabling the EQs.
Drowning in the deep end, couldn't see the light. Now she's trying to make it right, but the day's not over till the sun falls down. Oh, oh, oh. Don't have to go, but you can't stay home now. Oh,
EQs disabled.
oh, yeah. Wanna play the game, then you got to know how. Oh, she's a rebel, but her father is the devil,
EQs
so she
enabled.
knows to be careful when he comes
able.
home late.
They're coming on.
She's exposed to his remark. There's a swift head cutting through the cold night air. Oh, 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 oh. You don't have to go, but you can't stay home now. Oh.
Okay, so we have heard when we EQing on the tracks, okay? And you see in my workflow, the EQs that I use them for different things. And we saw that with the instrument, from me just filtering from high passing to low from low passing, taking out some things, and then using the Neve EQ to take some more things out, or to boost some things in the mix, for it to be heard and things of that nature, to get everything to sit in the way that I want them to sit in the mix. So now the instruments have clarity. The vocal has clarity now. See, so now I'm ready to do what we call compression. Okay, now I'm ready to control the dynamics. Okay, but I wanted to show in real time. Oh, I forgot to do my frequency chart. Gotta bring it up. But let me show you in my frequency chart. here that you see the vocal, male voice. Look, once again, it's shared. The fundamental frequencies are being shared with the kick drum, with the snare is being shared, with the bass guitar is being shared, with the guitar is being shared. Now there are more instruments and there are more vocals, background vocals and things that goes on with this song, but I just wanted to bring in some things so that you can get a grasp of what using EQ as a tool, what it's supposed to do for you. So hopefully this understanding, now you have something that you can now build to build more on your foundation, because that's why I tried to break this down all the way down so that you can have that understanding. So, and I hope that was able to show that to give you that understanding of, now that we talked about, the knobs of the EQ. We talked about what's the purpose of the EQ. We use this, everything that we learned, we used it. Use your EQ chart. I hope you researched one that helps, and you've downloaded that and you use that when you're mixing, because the more you mix and everything like that, the less you'll have to use that chart. And rely on your ears. Trust your ears. Your ears are your best tool that you have in order for you to make the correct decisions of how you want to approach EQing. And that's all I did. I just took an approach to how I feel that this should sound, because my end goal is that I want everything to be heard. I want this production to sound like a record. That's what I want it to sound like. So hopefully we have a good foundation now of EQ. You've seen me apply EQ. You've seen me use EQs, and you've seen how I use different ones for specific things. And it's okay to use your EQs for specific things. Whatever helps you to get to your end goal. And if you have to use 7 EQs because that help you get to your end goal, so be it. Yes, people say, "Oh, that's excessive." Like, I can do that with 1 EQ. Great. Keep doing what you're doing. I can get my results by using 7. It doesn't matter. So use what you need to be able to help you to reach your end goals. But at the end of the day, know why you're using what you're using, why you're turning this knob. Just don't guess and turn knobs and then hope for the best. No, know why you're doing that. That's why we went over all of this. So I hope this has been enlightening, and we're going to go ahead and close this video out. And I hope that you have enjoyed. I hope that you've learned something with EQ with a purpose.
Welcome back. Okay, we have finally come to the end of EQing with a purpose. And I hope that you have learned something from this. I hope you have gained some knowledge from all of these series that I've been running for the past weeks now. But to go on with the vocals, I just want to make this point very, very clear. Your vocals need to sit exactly in front of that mix, because they're the most important instrument. Now, in some genres, the vocals kind of sit a little bit back, and a lot of times that's when you have a lot of guitars and you have solos with the guitars and the singers are singing, or the lead singer is singing while the guitar is doing his solo, whatever have you. And that's the kind of times when you want to kind of have the vocals kind of sitting back a little bit. But for the most part, you want your vocals to sit up front, sound nice and clear, so that the listener is can hear them, because that's the first thing that that the listener is going to be listening for, is what are they saying, you know, what's being said. And it's our job to make sure that we put it in a place, the vocals in a place where the listener don't have to strain to hear what the vocalist is trying to say, whether it be rapping or singing, no matter what it is, what they're trying to say. So, like I said, you know, feel free to check out my website. It's soundadviceforyou.com. Um, we're still going to talk about EQ. We're still going to be going over some things, but I just wanted to lay that foundation down for you so that now you can build off of that foundation. And if there was any kind of myths out there or anything, you know, hopefully that clears up some things for you. But I just want to give you the basic stuff about EQing and how to apply some of these basic principles into your workflow. And as you work and as you keep working in your workflow, you'll find what works best for you. You'll figure out ideas. Your mind will start working and figuring out ideas as it was for me. So with all that being said, this has been Sound Advice. My name is Jeff McKenzie, and I'll see you on the next one.